Good day, y'all. It's AJ here, your toothless sage seeker. I wanted to take you down memory lane a little bit and perhaps share with you a new tarot project I'll be taking on. So, in my last reading, I spoke to you about acquiring a new tarot and oracle deck, which I was excited about. And this deck pairing is supposed to help me come full circle in my collection, if you may. It is supposed to help replace my very first tarot deck, which I foolishly gave away when I was younger. And now that I'm kind of I'm particular about my tarot history, the tarot decks I have throughout my tarot collection, I am wanting my first tarot deck back. Unfortunately, I will never get it back, but I figured I could buy a deck to replace that. My first tarot deck was a Rider Deluxe tarot in the purple box. A part of me was thinking maybe I could find a copy off of eBay. Everything I'm seeing now is between $300 and $600. I'm not wanting to spend that much on a tarot deck, so I figured I'd just find a simple tarot deck to replace my deck. But a unique thing I did with my first tarot deck was I modified it, not necessarily to put my energies into it, but because I was not happy with the deck, and I wanted to make it where I wanted to use it. First and foremost, the backings of the cards were a dull sage green, mint green type color, and I wasn't really happy with that. So what I did is I painted the backs black, and I added a gold spiral on the back to give it something unique, something different. And a couple of years later, I started the process of coloring in the front of the cards because I was not happy with the lack of color. So, it was a very unique deck. I put a lot of work into it to create it and make it something I was happy with, but I missed that deck and I want it back. So I found a very simple copy of the Rider-Waite-Smith deck on Amazon, and the reason why I got this deck was, one, it was in a tech box, and two, I liked the backs. It's not a spiral, but this is the backing of something I would put on the back of my card back then if I had a very unique stamp that was this elaborate. The backs are blue. I thought they were black, but they're blue, but that'll work. It's okay. However, one thing I'm not liking with this deck, and it could be the fact I didn't do enough research, I didn't have a lot of images I could compare it to, was I didn't realize how dull the images are. It's got the original artwork, but it's a lot duller than the original Rider-Waite-Smith. Even the 1909 version has a lot more color to it. So perhaps this is the universe's way of saying, if you want your old tarot deck back, you have to put in the work. And I didn't spend a lot of money on this deck, and I thought, well, perhaps maybe I can color this deck in. Back when I had my first deck, I used gel pens because they were opaque, and they worked on the cardstock. This is a linen finished cardstock, and I can't get my gel pens to work, but I do have Posca pens, acrylic markers. This is like the modern day version of gel pens. So last night, I figured it can't hurt. I colored in a couple of cards, and they didn't turn out half bad. And I'm probably going to order some more Posca pens, so I have a few different colors, but I have a feeling this is going to be my next project, is coloring in my full circle tarot deck. This will not be my second project. This will be like my fourth. My first tarot deck was my first project, and my other two projects in between was a couple of decks. I can't remember which one came first and which one came second. But I know I was wanting a copy of the Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot several years ago, probably about 15 years ago, maybe, I don't know, yeah, about 15 years ago, and I didn't have the money for a deck. We didn't have Amazon at the time, or I didn't know about it. So I printed out a copy of the Rider-Waite-Smith, and I colored it in because I wanted a much more colorful version of it. And this was my second tarot project. This took me about 3 years to complete, and because I worked on it off and on, I wasn't very consistent about it, but I did take time and color it in and make it very, very colorful. But this was a unique and interesting experience. This reminds me of a post that was on social media. I think it was Facebook. One of the tarot pages. Somebody was sketching out each card to better understand the tarot. And one thing I spoke to them about this project and how long it took me, and I wished them luck. But one thing I wasn't thinking about when I was coloring in this deck was using it to better understand the tarot. So perhaps I now have an opportunity to take a look at the cards and really learn the tarot, because this time around I'll be coloring in the cards. My other project, and I'm on the verge of finishing this one, is the Miriyan Tarot. I had bought this deck. It's actually it's originally in a box, and it has a book with it, but I decided to modify it down. I had bought this deck and book combination to go along with a vintage reproduction of the Miriyan Tarot, and this deck has 97 cards in it. So when I ordered the decks, this one came and the other one didn't. It got canceled. I got reimbursed for it, but I was disappointed. I did not like this deck because I wasn't keen on the images. They were dull. There's not a lot of color in them. And I eventually gave this one to my mom, and we set it aside with a set of Sharpie markers, and we were both going to color this in, and it never happened. So when my mom passed, I acquired this deck back, and I decided to take on the task of coloring it in, since it is part of my tarot history. And I took the Sharpie markers and some alcohol markers, and I have been coloring this deck in, trying to get it colorful and exciting and something I want to use in the future. So this is my second or third. I want to say the Rider-Waite-Smith came first, and then this one came, and I just kind of finished them when I had the opportunity to. So I'm not a stranger to this. I am almost done with this deck, as you can see. I just have like maybe 20 more cards to color in, and then I'll have the opportunity to start working on my new tarot deck. It'll be some work, but it will give me an opportunity to sit down and look at the cards and perhaps understand the meanings a little bit better, understand the cards a little bit better, and hopefully in the end, when I have a colored in copy of the deck, I'll have a reproduction of the deck I had, and more knowledge that I can use in the future. So, and I was wanting to learn more about tarot this year anyway, so perhaps, again, as the universe's way of saying, if you want it, you have to put in the work, and you'll learn through this. So with that, I want to wish everybody namaste. I'll see you guys in my next video or my next reading, and as always, y'all come back now, you hear?